Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
The WNBA has a massive problem, and two of its own announcers just exposed it on live television. During a recent ESPN broadcast, Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco broke an unwritten rule. They stopped just describing the game and started calling out the referees for deliberately ignoring the brutal fouls on Caitlin Clark. This wasn't a slip-up, it was a full-blown on-air rebellion that confirmed what millions of fans have been screaming for months. They said the quiet part out loud, and in doing so, they may have just revealed a league-wide conspiracy to let its biggest star get systematically pummeled.
And finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it. I mean, this is what Caitlin Clark is.
It all started as a typical broadcast, but the tone shifted fast. As Caitlin Clark brought the ball up the court, the scene became all too familiar. She was grabbed, held, and yanked by defenders with no whistle in sight. But this time, the booth wasn't silent. Rebecca Lobo, a WNBA legend and one of the most respected analysts in the sport, decided she'd seen enough. Her voice, usually calm and measured, was laced with an unmissable edge of frustration. She and Ryan Ruocco began pointing out every illegal hold, every body check, every single non-call in real time. It was no longer just game commentary, it was a live intervention, a rebellion happening in the broadcast booth. They were saying what every fan was thinking. This isn't basketball, and we're not going to pretend it is anymore.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, you know, because they are straightforward, and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, you know, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to... Shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo calling it like.
This on-air rebellion brought to light what many have called the unofficial Caitlin Clark rule, a bizarre, unwritten code where the normal rules of basketball simply don't apply to her. For months, fans have watched in disbelief as Clark gets fouled like she's in a WWE match while the refs seem to be sipping invisible tea. She's been hip-checked into Gatorade coolers, shoved into the scorer's table, and hit with forearms to the ribs, all while the officials stare on with blank expressions. It's a pattern so consistent and so blatant that it defies logic. It's not just a rough rookie season, it feels like a targeted campaign. And with Lobo and Ruocco finally giving voice to it, the issue transformed from a fan complaint into a credible televised scandal.
The new man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on right here. They're talking about this right here where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit here.
But the sheer scope of it is what's truly shocking. This isn't just happening in the final seconds of a possession or during a tough battle in the paint. No, this is a 94-foot gauntlet. From the moment Clark touches the ball on an inbound pass, she's being mugged. Defenders are grabbing her jersey, holding her arm, and putting their hands all over her body as she tries to cross half court. The game film is damning. You can see opponents with both arms wrapped around her waist waist, literally holding her back as if Valentine's Day came early. It's a full court obstacle course where her biggest opponent isn't the player in front of her, but an officiating crew that seems allergic to blowing the whistle. It has become a sport within a sport. How much can you get away with fouling Caitlin Clark before someone notices?
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
What makes this circus even more maddening is the glaring double standard. On some nights, a player gets called for a flagrant foul for a light tap on the wrist, but when Clark is involved, someone can practically clothesline her, and the refs will call it good hustle. This isn't about asking for special treatment, it's about asking for basic competence. Fans and analysts point to other stars in the league like A'ja Wilson or Breanna Stewart, who consistently get the whistle when they're contacted. They drive to the basket and are rewarded with free throws, as they should be. But when Clark does the same, she hits the floor and the only sound you hear is the collective groan of the crowd. This inconsistency has turned watching games into a live-streamed gaslighting session, where everyone sees the foul except the 3 people on the court paid to call them.
You think the old guard, you think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Orion Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grab Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hand around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
It's a foul as she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets shot. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not defense.
This is where the story takes a darker, more conspiratorial turn. After watching this chaos unfold for over 20 games, it's hard to believe it's just incompetence. The theory that was once whispered in fan forums is now being discussed in the mainstream. What if the league instructed the refs to swallow their whistles? It sounds crazy until you consider the possible motives. Maybe it's a misguided attempt to toughen her up for the pros. Maybe it's a clumsy effort to avoid accusations of favoritism by going too far in the other direction. Or maybe it's a directive to allow for a more physical game to appease old school critics who claim modern basketball is soft. Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same. The league's most marketable asset is being officiated like she doesn't belong there, and it's starting to look intentional.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA, unlike some other players. A'ja Wilson. Every time you touch A'ja Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul call. You touch her, she gets.
This is precisely why the commentary from Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco was so groundbreaking. They are just random voices. They are the ultimate insiders. Lobo is a Hall of Famer, a pioneer of the league. She is polished, professional, and doesn't engage in baseless hot takes. So when her voice tightens and she starts breaking down frame by frame how Clark is being bumped, held, and decked without calls, it's not an exaggeration, it's an indictment. She's not yelling or ranting, she's using her platform to calmly but firmly draw a circle around the problem and say, this is not okay. In a media environment that's often carefully curated, Lobo and Ruocco became the unlikely heroes, providing truth in real time without spin or sugarcoating.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Ruocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this, she had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she'd learned. And now she had to learn to go foul.
And while the announcers highlight the problem, the consequences are playing out on Clark's face and in her game every single night. This isn't just about abstract rules, it's about the physical and psychological toll on a player who is being relentlessly beaten down. You can see the frustration mounting. She gets hit with technical fouls for arguing calls that should have been made in her favor moments earlier. A cruel irony where she's punished for reacting to being ignored. She is forced to fight two battles at once, one against her defenders and another against the officials. This constant barrage is designed to get in her head, to make her hesitate on a drive to the basket, to make her second guess her every move. It's no longer just defense, it's psychological warfare, and the refs are silent accomplices.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure, she meets.
So with millions of viewers watching their star player get mugged and their most respected commentators calling it out, what has the league office done? Absolutely nothing. The silence from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA's head of officiating has been deafening. There have been no statements, no clarifications, and no acknowledgements of the controversy. This isn't just a lack of response, it feels like a strategy. By refusing to address the elephant in the room, the league appears to be hoping it will all just blow over. But their silence is being interpreted as complicity. It suggests they either don't see a problem with their most famous player being used as a punching bag, or worse, they see it and they approve.
This is the last thing I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama, at least for this very moment, because the discourse has gotten absolutely insane. But there has been a lot of media and current athletes coming out and saying that the treatment that players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like other rookies are receiving is just how basketball is. It's happened to many WNBA players in the past, and this is just the way it is. And new fans coming to the game just need to deal with it. However, this is the way that the game has been, and the WNBA has never been as successful as it is.
While the league stays silent, a common excuse has emerged from defenders of the status quo. This is just rookie treatment. They claim every great player has to go through it. But a closer look reveals this is far from typical. The level of physicality being ignored is unprecedented, and the proof isn't just on Clark's game tape. In a pre-game interview, fellow UConn star Paige Beckers reportedly told Ryan Ruocco that she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. Let that sink in. A top player admitted that the league's officiating is so broken she had to unlearn fundamental defense and learn how to foul to keep up. That's not rookie hazing, that's a systemic breakdown of the rules, an admission that hacking has become an accepted part of the game, and it's a problem that goes far beyond just one player.
Ryan and Rebecca going extended rip at the foul issues, absolute unbelievable criticism. For Paige to say she had to relearn how to defend to be less careful about fouling. That's not basketball. Like, people literally say, oh, it's physical basketball. No, you're just going around hacking people. You're just going around hacking people. That's not foul. That's not defense. Going around hacking people, genuinely, going around hacking people is not defense. That's not defense. It's not.
Ultimately, this isn't just about fairness or rookie adjustments. It's about the future of the entire league. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. She is single-handedly driving sold-out arenas, smashing viewership records, and bringing millions of new eyes to the WNBA. She is the league's golden goose. But the current officiating crisis is putting that entire golden opportunity at risk. New fans who tuned in to see a transcendent talent are instead watching a chaotic street brawl where the rules are arbitrary and the star is treated as disposable. Why would they stick around? By allowing this to continue, the WNBA isn't just failing Caitlin Clark, it's actively sabotaging its own unprecedented growth and telling a whole new generation of fans that their product isn't worth taking seriously.